Religion comes through the knowledge of good and evil. What did Adam get through partaking of that tree of knowledge of good and evil? He got the knowledge of good and evil resident within him, and the Lord said, "You will die. The day you eat it, you will die." Spiritually. He died physically also. So in the day that man ate, they died. Adam died physically and spiritually in the day that he ate of it. And yet, so many Christians think that because I know what's good and evil and I can decide myself, I don't need life. I can decide myself which TV programs are good to watch and which are not. I don't need to pray. I can decide myself which movies are good and which are bad. I can decide myself whether Harry Potter is a good book to read or not, and whether it's good for my children or not. We got to be very careful in the day and age in which we live. You must remember the entire educational system of this world is under the control of the devil. That's why they teach evolution. That's why they teach against God. That's why they teach against creation. The financial systems of the world are under the control of the devil. The entertainment systems of the world are all under the control of the devil. If you're not watchful, you got to be very careful about the things that come from the educational systems and the financial systems and the entertainment systems of this world. You can think that this is good and this is evil because your forefather partook of that tree. And because you go to church, you know a little bit of the Bible, you think you're all right. Dear brother, sister, what you need is life. Jesus did not come to give us the knowledge of good and evil. He came to give us life. The knowledge of good and evil is like a law. We can say the whole law. What was the law? It was the knowledge of good and evil. What you should do and what you shouldn't do. Even for small things, the law was very clear. This is good, this is evil. But it didn't bring life. All those who are under the law died spiritually. Many legalistic people think they are spiritual. They're not. The Pharisees thought they were the most spiritual people on the face of the earth. And I believe that even Peter, James, and John in their younger days must have thought, if you had asked Peter, "Can you tell me some spiritual man that you know?" they'd point out one of the Pharisees. And they must have got the shock of their life when they heard Jesus lambasting the Pharisees and saying they were going to hell. The people whom they thought were the most spiritual people on earth. Jesus said they were going to hell. So this is where religion begins. When I live by my own understanding of what is good and what is evil. And I don't want God to give me life and the life within me prompting me to hold back from something. And that life comes to us through the Holy Spirit. That's why it's important that every person not only receives the Spirit when you're born again, but is filled with the Holy Spirit, because that's to be alert to what is living and what is dead. The tree of life, we can say, is a life full of the Holy Spirit. And that's what Adam rejected, and that's what God placed in the middle of the garden. And that's what God places in the middle of the church, the Holy Spirit. And when the Holy Spirit's not recognized in a church as most important, you'll end up with a so-called good church that's avoiding evil things, doing a lot of good to the community and helping people and all that. But finally, the vast majority of that church going to hell. That'll be tragic. So let's remember that this is where religiosity and spirituality begins. The Holy Spirit must be central in a spiritual church. The way of the cross must be central in any spiritual church. You avoid that way, you'll only go to the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You know, when I have question-answer sessions in different conferences, it's very easy to see when looking at these questions whether these people who ask the questions are interested in knowledge or in life. And I tell you, a lot of them are interested in knowledge. Christianity is full of people who say, why this verse, what does this verse mean and what does that verse mean? Very few who are hungering and how can I have more of the life of God? I wish I could meet a few people like that. So when you go to the Bible, seek for life and not for knowledge. And when you share the word, don't share knowledge. You'll kill people. Share life. Share what God spoke into your heart, brought life into your heart. That's prophecy. Sharing information and knowledge. It's just like getting up in here and saying two twos are 2, 4, and 2 threes are 6, and 2 fours are 8. It's all true. It doesn't help anybody spiritually. That's knowledge. Please think about this. Knowledge or life?